Okay, welcome back. This is week 5, lesson 2. We're going to talk a little bit more today about nutrition's role in epigenetic healing. So let's get started. Okay, so I want to preface this lesson with that when you signed up for this program, one of the things I mentioned that makes this program different from any other treatments you have tried is that there is no radical diets. And while that is very true, that is not what this program is about. We would be remiss to not discuss the power of nutrition in managing symptoms and the impact it has on epigenetics, right? We covered epigenetics in our first lesson of this week and how powerful those are in affecting our healing powers, and how nutrition and what we put in our bodies really communicates with our epigenetics and our genes. So, obviously it does have an impact. So bear with me. This is not about putting you on some crazy, miserable diet, but rather just about educating you on the influence of nutrition on your symptoms and on your healing journey, and how you can make better informed choices regarding what you put in your body. So, okay, that's out of the way. Let's go on. Okay, so in this lesson, we're going to talk about epigenetic power and how that is communicated through nutrition. So we're not just eating for fuel. We are literally sending messages to our genes. So every bite we take carries signals that can support or stress our immune system. So again, this is not about restriction, right? I want you to enjoy your life. I want you to enjoy the things you eat. But it is about creating conditions where your body feels safe enough to heal, and it's getting the nutrients it needs to do that. So there's actually a term for this. This field is called nutrigenomics, and it studies how the nutrients in your food talk to your DNA. So certain vitamins, minerals, and compounds can literally switch genes on or off. So for example, folate, B12, and choline can activate protective genes, while a lack of these can leave important healing pathways dormant. Anti-inflammatory foods don't just reduce pain and swelling, they also influence gene activity. So foods rich in antioxidants like berries and turmeric and leafy greens calm inflammatory genes and support immune balance. And this obviously reduces autoimmune flare-ups over time. So let's focus on these 3 powerful categories, right? These are the main stars of nutrients for our epigenetics. B vitamins, especially folate, B6, and B12. These help to regulate our bodies and turn on the genes that reduce inflammation. Omega-3s, also really important. That's found in like fatty fish, flax, walnuts. Again, helps lower inflammation and supports brain health. And polyphenols, these come from colorful fruits and veggies and herbs. They protect the DNA and support gut health. And these nutrients are like epigenetic tools, rebuilding your foundation from the inside out. So your gut is more than digestion. It is a key hub of immune signaling. If your microbiome is imbalanced from antibiotics or stress or just poor diet, it can send inflammatory messages to your genes. So foods like fermented veggies, prebiotic fibers, and diverse plants feed your microbiome and strengthen your epigenetic response. Refined sugars, artificial ingredients, and processed fats kind of do the opposite. Obviously, that can trigger genes that promote inflammation and immune dysregulation. These foods increase oxidative stress and crowd out the healing nutrients. So this isn't about perfection, it's about awareness and creating more space for healing inputs. Obviously, chronic stress and trauma often impact our eating patterns. You may crave sugar or salt, or have irregular hunger cues, or struggle with absorption when you're really highly stressed. Stress can also reduce stomach acid and digestive enzyme production. And this is why gentle, nourishing, non restrictive approaches are essential, especially if in the past food has felt like a battlefield, right? Again, this is not meant to make you feel like your body's working against you. It's how do we communicate better with our body and feed it properly. Um, this is also not about rules or shame, right? Gentle nutrition means making choices that care for your body, not punish it. So instead of what should I cut out, I want you to instead be asking yourself, what can I add that helps me feel more grounded and more nourished and supported today? Because nourishment truly is a form of trauma repair. So here's some ideas. There's also a companion worksheet that kind of goes over some of this stuff and outlines it more for you that you can print out and have when you go to the grocery store or whatever. But oatmeal with berries, walnuts, cinnamon, wild salmon, sweet potatoes, greens, turmeric is great, kale, quinoa, herbal teas. I love herbal teas. Ginger or peppermint, especially really good for anti-inflammatory. But choose whole, colorful, plant-rich foods when you can. That's a big help in being able to decrease the inflammation. But focus on variety and balance and warmth, especially during flares, right? Again, this is not about perfection. It's just about listening to your body. So a healing plate might look something like a fiber-rich carb, like your sweet potatoes or brown rice. And then, of course, protein is always good for our bodies. You can get that through meat or fish or eggs, or if you're vegetarian, beans have a lot of protein. And then at least one anti-inflammatory fat, like olive oil or avocado or nuts. And then try some non-starchy vegetables. Those are also really helpful in regulating our nervous system and reducing inflammation. But start small. Even adding just one supportive element to your meal makes a difference. Again, this is not about perfection, it's about progress, right? So if you've not been eating the greatest lately, just try one of these things. Make a small, gentle change. And as you are making these small, gentle changes, check in with yourself. This is also about connecting to you. What do you want, right? So ask yourself, what's one food that I'd like to add to this week's meals for my nourishment? What's a food that maybe your body's craving? And what's a food that you'd like to crowd out gently, not from guilt, but from compassion for your healing? So, for example, maybe you add some fruit and Greek yogurt and start to gently reduce sugary processed snacks. So let's close with just a gentle question here of what does nourishment look like for me in this season of healing? And maybe that is a warm, comforting soup. Maybe it's just having more regular meals, right? Being more thoughtful and mindful about when you're eating and what you're eating. Maybe it's letting go of guilt, maybe it's not trying to eat perfectly all the time. It's just listening to your body. So whatever it is, let that guide your choices this week. Again, make sure to check out the companion worksheet. There's a lot more ways to attune to your nutrition. And there's also a sample 7-day meal plan prep sheet. It's a lot to say. To kind of help you get started, or if you need a little bit more guidance in what sort of nutrients to choose. So thanks for showing up, and I'll look forward to seeing you in our last lesson of this week, lesson 3.